I did a video yesterday in which I said there were 6 stocks you needed to have into your portfolio. And they basically focused on biotech and 3D printing. And I got some comments that I had pretty much deserted the stocks that I started this YouTube channel on, which were about 6. And I had gotten away. In fact, Sven Isold said that I'd gotten away from my advice to buy the buyers, buy the stocks who are buying up the startups to improve their position in the market. And I apologize for that because that's not my thesis. That's not my investing thesis. Over 50% of my portfolio is held in Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla. And they are the buyers. They are the people who are going to buy up. And for maybe even some of the biotechs, but some of the other companies that I am investing in on more of a speculative basis. And I want to get back to buy the buyers. And I'm going to start with Apple.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
And I'm going to start with Apple because Apple has last year in 2020 has spent $29 billion, that's with a B, $29 billion on acquisitions. And that was in 2020. And we're only, into March of 2021, and they're still keeping up the pace. And what I see is that Apple is basically on a move to move us away from the graphical interface that we have on our phone and on our laptops, and to move us towards and we've been in that vein for 20 to 30 years, and over the next 10 years, they're going to move us away from it. The first start of it will be in a move with augmented reality. They are going to take that interface that we have on our phone, and probably within the next 2 years, they're going to move it to some glasses or some goggles. The goggles will be directed initially towards the gamers, and that's not a big enough market for Apple to focus on, but it is a good testing ground. So you will see them moving heavier into those augmented reality and virtual reality goggles to compete with Facebook's Oculus. Why do they want to do this? It's not because they want to be in the gaming business. They recognize over the next 40 years, you're going to eventually take that screen that you hold in your hand, and it's going to move to your eye in the form of a contact lens. And everything is going to be through your lenses and through your voice. You will activate the screen on your eyes through your voice or through your finger. They also have recently filed a patent on a sleeve that fits on your finger so that you will literally be able to move your finger like this, and you will initially see it on a pair of glasses that will look like normal glasses to the observer, but on that screen, you will be moving your cursor to feed you information that will then feed through the stems of your glasses and into your ears. You will be able to walk up to someone that you met 3 years ago, and through movement of your finger, it will tell you who they are, what their wife's name is, what their children's name is, and it will be whispering in your ear. You will be able to go to a foreign country and basically communicate with people who you don't understand their language by merely speaking. And if they have a similar device in their ear, your voice, although you're speaking English and you're in France, they will hear you in English in their ear, and when they respond back to you, you will hear them in their voice, in English, in your ear. This is where Apple is going. This is the future. And this is what I believe why you need to continue to hold these companies. The glasses you'll see probably by 2025. The contact lenses you'll see probably maybe by 2030. This is where they're headed. Augmented reality, virtual reality are their future. And Apple is going to be a major player. Will they have competition? Most certainly. Facebook is moving in this same direction. And I'm sure Google is all behind them. They are all have voice-activated systems that they want to put into your home so as to gather more data. We need to recognize that data is the king, and the people who control the data will control the e-commerce, will control all commerce. Right now, those data giants are Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Google. They are doing all this not so much to sell you some glasses or to sell you some contact lenses or some earbuds, but to get first access to your data. I then went and said, okay, how can I find out exactly what Apple is doing? So I found an article that basically went through the purchases that Apple made in 2020. And you see, Apple is buying Canadian startup Buddy Build and in 2018, and Buddy Build was absorbed by Apple in 2020. Apple acquires AI startup Valinix to improve Siri. That's their voice activated sound. Apple acquires podcast app Scout FM earlier this year. Apple may have acquired virtual reality startup Spaces. Apple reportedly acquired Israeli photography startup Camerali. And it goes on. Apple acquires MobiWave startup that lets smartphones access payment uses. Apple acquires enterprise device management firm Fleetsmith. Apple acquires machine learning startup Indicity to improve Siri. It goes on, page after page of acquisitions, and from the report I read, it accounted to $29 billion last year. So, do we continue to buy Apple? Most certainly. As I have told you in a previous video, I am starting another video or another portfolio inside my company, Best of Us LLC, where I will be taking the profits that I make from my other business ventures and starting a solo 401k for Nita and I, which will allow us to put something just shy of $120,000 into that solo 401k over the next year. And I am going to most certainly be adding to my buy the buyers. And that again is Apple, Google, Amazon, Tesla, and Microsoft. Those are the companies that I believe are going to be the dominant players because they are the companies who have the data. And even to the extent that that the biotechs that I am so excited about are going to be doing studies. They're going to be sequencing your genome, and I believe that virtually everyone will have their genome sequenced in the next 5 years. Well, that is data. The CRISPR and edit and invate don't have the resources to take that data and take that technology to its fullest extent. Somebody has to gather that data and then process it and compare it and then explode the industry, because they're comparing my genome sequence to your genome sequence to millions of other genome sequences, and then inserting artificial intelligence and machine learning and taking this sequencing and this CRISPR to far extents that we can't even imagine. So I would not be surprised. Again, I go back to the interview with Jim Cramer and Tim Cook in January of 2019, when Tim Cook asked Jim Cramer, "What do you think you will remember Apple for 20 years from now?" And that would be 2040. And Jim said, "Well, I suppose the iPhone." And Tim Cook said, "No, you will remember us for healthcare." So when I hear that, do I believe that maybe right now in the boardroom of Apple or Google or Amazon, they're saying, should we buy CRISPR? Should we buy edits? Should we buy some of these tech companies and be the collector of this data that's going to change the world? I'll guarantee you that conversation is going on. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm not on their board of directors. But if I were, and we had a meeting on today or on Monday, that's something I'd bring up. If we are really going to be, and again, if it's Google, Amazon, Apple, any of them, if we are going to be the movers and shakers of the world we live in, don't we have to get into this biotech? Don't we have to be the collectors of that data to stay in the position that we want to be in? So, Sven, I sold. Buy the buyers. Continue to buy the buyers. And they're just follow the money. There aren't that many of them. They own the data. They own what I was reading a book, and it basically said that in the agricultural age, the key was to own the land. In the industrial age, the key was to own the steel. In the mobility age, the key was to own the oil. Well, we're beyond that. And the key now is to own the data. And the people who own the data also happen to own the money, and they will be the buyers. So that's my take on it. And I apologize if I veered off course and I focused on what is going to be bought, but I know who the buyers are. Okay, talk to you again tomorrow.